Welcome back to another episode of ATTV. I'm your host, Ben McLeod, founder of Convey Bio, and I'm excited to be joined by Tess Kitchener from ElevateBio. Tess, can you tell us a little bit about your role at Elevate?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me. Like you said, Tess Kitchener. I head up the commercial team at ElevateBio for BaseCamp, which is our process development, analytical development, and manufacturing services. I had been with Elevate for a little over 4 years now. I actually joined as their head of manufacturing.
Right
Back when we were just getting going and manufacturing was just 4 people. So to see the growth now, ElevateBio is over 400 people. And so, I was part of that journey, getting us set up, getting us to our first clinical batches. And then they asked me to switch over to the commercial side. And it's been just really great connecting with different partners and how we can help support them in a variety of different ways.
Fantastic. Excellent. So if you have someone who comes along, they're in early phases of development, how do you help them?
Yeah, on the early phase side, we can support partners from R&D. So we have a lot of different technologies within ElevateBio's ecosystem, from iPSC cell lines to we have some LNP technology. We have an amazing company called LifeEdit that does really amazing editing capabilities from their own differentiated guided nucleases, base editors, RT editors, and so partners can really tap in all the way from the R&D early stage, phase through to candidate nomination and then beyond into process development.
Excellent. So just following up on that thread of process development, analytical development, obviously a lot of clients would be coming to you for that purpose. So how can you help them in those areas?
Yeah, on the process development side, pretty early on, like I mentioned, from even just from candidate selection. So, we can screen different constructs, make small batches of lentivirus, using our lentipeak platform that would then scale seamlessly into manufacturing because it's the same process, just scaled down. So, getting to that candidate nomination, so being able to screen multiple constructs, then being able to select one, and then we can help optimize that, say on the cell therapy side, using some of our, off-the-shelf platform processes, but then even from a process optimization standpoint, right? So you have, maybe an academic process that needs, to advance into later phases of the clinical trials, and you want to do some process optimization, close those systems down. We can help support that. On the analytical development side, what's really interesting is really being able to partner, with the therapeutic developers in thinking about a full analytical approach, right? Making sure that they have orthogonal methods that are going to pass the regulatory muster that's needed these days. But even just, how can we be supporting just from like a, one-off assay example would be like potency assay. How can we help develop your potency assay in a robust way that really can hold that to that rigor that's needed these days.
Very good. Yeah. No, the ever-evolving, very tight regulations that are required. It's,
We're working on a white paper right now, just from the feedback from the regulators just recently, especially on potency, that'll be coming out soon.
Very good. Looking forward to that. So do you have an example of someone that you've worked with that you'd be able to use as a case study?
Yeah, several, but maybe just to pick one or two. Kyverna Therapeutics is one of our partners that we've been working with now for a while, and really partnered with them on say, I'm going to call it upgrading their process, right? From both shortening the process duration down to 3 days, and so it was a really really thoughtful collaboration. Some of the other things that you think about, not just shortening the process down, but also, how can we streamline the analytics? Like I mentioned before, you really need to be thoughtful. But when you're talking about, Kyverna is going after autoimmune indications, you need to think about low volume, because of the dose levels and things like that that's needed. And so, we're really, a thought partner with them in how we're doing that.
Excellent. Very good.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk a little bit about BaseCamp.
Sure.
I've heard about it for many, many years. I had several friends who worked at my old lab who went to Elevate. and heard really good things about it. So I'd love to learn a little bit more about how you guys help out with what kind of innovation you guys are working at with BaseCamp.
Yeah, I mean, from an innovation standpoint, so wait, let me back up. First and foremost, you need to come have a tour. Fully welcome. I'm happy to host.
That'd be awesome.
And take you around because it's we won a FOIA award for operational excellence, and we hold it very dear. We love showcasing and showing what we can do. On an innovation side, it's fun to be in conferences like this week. Connecting with a bunch of the different technology companies. One of the things that we have within Elevate is our own emerging tech core lab. And so they're really tasked with going out, seeing what the best innovation is out there from a tools perspective, from an equipment perspective, from a reagent perspective, and then going and testing it. We beta test a lot of different devices, really to stay at that forefront of what's next and what's coming, and really how are we going to optimize, how are we going to make sure that we're meeting the demand that's coming from a patient perspective. One of the we did a joint white paper with Acadium on their microbubble technology and really evaluating that against some of the other techniques that are out there. And so, things like that are things that we're always really excited about.
Excellent, very good. And then obviously innovation is one part of it, but as these earlier stage companies move into later stage trials and even as they look towards the market, these processes now need to be scaled. So how can you guys help with that?
Yeah, I mean, we're really being thoughtful in our approach. And so, really thinking about a way that we're going to be able to do a really distributed model. And so, it starts with our facility, which you will come and tour, which is just outside of Boston in Waltham, Massachusetts. Weather is similar to Texas right now, which makes no sense, but we're moving on. And, it's like I mentioned, it's a beautiful facility. We're currently expanding that facility. We're adding 6 additional clean rooms on the cell therapy side to really be able to scale to partners. The first 3 of those is coming out in Q3 of this year. And so, we want to be able to grow with our partners. And another way we're doing that is we have a site in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania that's coming online. Will be mechanically complete in 2026. First GMP batches are in Q1 of 2027.
Right on.
And, what we have built, we invested early in a digital infrastructure. So we have electronic batch records, from a materials management perspective. And so, as we think about growing into different regions, different countries, being able to leverage that digital infrastructure, how we've built it, and having the Waltham facility being a reference site for our future facilities is really something that we've been really thoughtful about in being able to grow easily with our partners and expanding out, but also just getting at the forefront of that demand and what's needed.
Very good. So finally, we're thinking a little bit about what the future looks like. What do you think is going to be important in the future, and how is Elevate working towards those things?
Yeah, I mean, we touched on a lot of it, but from an innovation standpoint, I do think the automation AI, which is a very stock answer, is really important. And I think, as we try to talk about personalized medicine, we need to be able to make sure that we can turn those things around really quickly. And so, my manufacturing background, I'm all for streamlining operations, being thoughtful about, having operators in grade B gowning and grade B clean rooms. So those closed systems and being able to work those back and be thoughtful about our approach really will allow, one, cost of goods to come down. So the cost per batch goes down. I know I'm still really excited about allogeneic. I know there's a lot that's going to be talked about here this week. I actually see that as another opportunity in how we can really serve a lot of different patients and make sure that our partners, we want to work collaboratively with them on how we go about this. And I do think, today we're not at a point where one size fits all. I don't know that we'll fully ever get there. But how we can make sure that we're being thoughtful about, here's these needs, here's how we're going to do this, and then match the right tools for the job.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned allogeneic, and there's an investor presentation yesterday where they talked about there's definitely going to be both. Allogeneic over time, probably in the next 5 to 10 years, is really going to take much more of the market share, but there's always going to be room for both. And even though allogeneic is still in its infant stages, it's definitely going to grow up pretty quickly.
Yeah. I saw one of your posts, and for us, one of the things that you said, I think it might have been yesterday or a couple of days ago, smart people, cool science, I think it was some of the things that you used. And for me, that translates really well with what Elevate does, right? We want to do cool science. I think, for us, we're therapeutic developers at heart. That's our backgrounds, and, we're wanting to partner, with like-minded people to grow. And so, how can we do that?
Right on. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time, Tess. This was lots of fun. Where can people find you?
We're here. We have a booth. I think it's 346. But no, swing by. It's bright blue. I don't think you can miss it.
Excellent.
But thank you so much.
Thank you, Tess. Thanks, everyone.